Well, before the clock runs out, TikTok may have a new suitor after all. President Trump announced that Bill Gates' Microsoft is a contender to buy TikTok from the Chinese Communist Party-affiliated ByteDance. President Trump has implied he wishes to see a bidding war, no surprise, pitting Microsoft against other competitors, Canada's own Kevin O'Leary of Shark Tank fame, YouTuber Mr. Beast, Oracle's Larry Ellison, and billionaire Frank McCourt. ByteDance has thanked President Trump for such a gracious extension of life in the United States and is now open to a sale in a way it was not under Biden. President Trump has proposed as well a U.S.-based owner going 50-50 with China. Joining us now is best-selling author, investigative journalist, Seamus Bruner, author of Control Oligarchs. Seamus, the question is, will TikTok be any safer in the hands of globalist billionaires who love China anyways?
Yeah, that's a great question, Chanel. Thanks for having me on. Bill Gates, he is absolutely in bed with China, so it's not a whole lot better, but I guess he is an American. He is the front runner, it would seem. Of course, Larry Ellison, also a front runner. But yeah, these tech guys, they have such huge business dealings with China. And we know that in the past, Microsoft has caved to CCP demands. They've even outed some of the dissident journalists who were using like Skype and other Microsoft products. They actually Microsoft tailored their software to work with the CCP for all sorts of censorship and firewall purposes. So it's not a whole lot better, but this would be seen as a major victory for Trump if he's able to get around this TikTok ban by having an American company either go 50-50 or take full majority stake.
Right, and of course, on the legal side, there's a little more oversight that, even if someone like Bill Gates were to take hold, and even if it feels like he's in bed with China, that additional oversight and legal umbrella is somewhat comforting, no?
Yeah, it is. It is, having a company like Microsoft that is much more subject to American laws and SEC filings and transparency requirements as American companies are. That is, the hope here. This is why there's a ban. The ban was put into place is so that, they're subject to American rules, not Chinese rules. I will say though, if Microsoft takes it over, people love TikTok right now. There's no guarantee they'll continue to love it. Microsoft products are notoriously buggy and problematic.
Yeah, I guess if Microsoft were to take it over, they'd have to agree not to touch the software. That said, the other questions that arise out of this is you wrote an entire book about the control oligarchs, and we tap you every once in a while for what the latest is from all of these big tech, big corporation figures who have been famously on the side of globalists, famously on the side of supporting kind of the Barack Obama wing of politics. What is their pulse now? Especially looking at guys like Larry Ellison, who honestly I don't think it's unfair to say he can't be trusted. He's certainly someone who's played on the globalist side more than he has played on the nationalist side. What is the general pulse right now of all the control oligarchs you've been watching over the years?
Yeah, well, I was at the inauguration. I saw that they were seated at the head table. They had positions of prominence, everyone from Jeff Bezos to Mark Zuckerberg. You had the Google, Sergey Brin was there at the Starlight Ball. And Larry Ellison, just to go on and on down the list, they have been no friends of MAGA in the past, and it's not clear if they're friends now. Now, Donald Trump is able to bend people to his will in ways that no other politician or president has ever been able to do. So I trust him, what he's doing here. But at the same time, these guys, the one thing you can rely on is that they will act in their self-interest. Sam Altman is another one of these guys who's rapidly ascended with OpenAI. They should not be trusted fully. You have to be very wary because they basically worship, a lot of these guys worship artificial intelligence. And The thing that I'm a little wary of is how much we're putting all of our eggs in the AI basket here, and it all of a sudden in one day with China's DeepSeek R1 model just totally wiped out $1 trillion of our market cap. When we put all of our eggs into the AI basket with people who are not necessarily totally loyal to the United States, we better win. But the other thing I'm worried about is, what does the finish line in this new arms race look like? I mean, I'm not sure, with the nuclear bomb, it's like you get to a nuclear bomb and there's the finish line. With AI, it's like a arms race to oblivion.
No, that's a great question. I think some of it has to do with who the finish line is, who ends up having the keys that actually controls it, because the big existential question that we're barreling toward is the fear that AI will overtake humanity. And this is actually a question of man versus machine. And either way, the scenarios are very dark. It's entering Stanley Kubrick territory. And I don't think any one person has the answers. And so you're right. It's scary that the end point has not been totally identified. And if it is, it's vaguely something that deals with the existence of humanity.
Yeah, I mean, here's 2 points. I mean, just in this arms race and whether we can trust these guys who are all cozying up and trying to get pieces of the Donald Trump pie. One, Larry Ellison says of Oracle, says that with AI and biometric surveillance and in facial recognition, we can do pre-crime and we can have a more, a less criminal society. That should alarm everyone. We don't want pre-crime. We don't want prejudicial determinations being made when your face is scanned. And to that point, just this week, Microsoft has announced that it's got a partnership with Kroger, the grocery store, that they are going to use facial recognition technology, and Kroger in partnership with Microsoft, to scan your face when you go into the grocery store and give you prices of groceries based on what it thinks it can charge you. So totally just judge you for, oh, maybe this person's wealthy enough to pay more for their eggs, so we're going to charge you more for your eggs. That is just a dystopian hellscape that we are hurtling towards. And the end game, I write about it in Control Oligarchs. The final chapter is the end game. I'm not sure that competing with China is the best thing anyway, because China's society is the end game. A social credit score is the end game, where everything the AI knows about you, it determines whether you're a threat, whether you're a potential dissident, whether you should be allowed to have weekend driving privileges. I don't want to live in that society, and yet we're full speed ahead. So a lot to be concerned about, and we'll definitely be keeping tabs on all of it.
Now, Larry, to your earlier point, Larry Ellison of Oracle, it just reminds me, he's straight up a villain out of a Philip K. Dick novel. Dick wrote the Minority Report, right? The pre-crimes unit. I mean, Ellison seems like he is straight out of those pages. That said, I think there is a strategy here that the Trump camp, that Donald Trump himself is executing, in that best to have powerful players close to you than far away, playing overtly for the other team. The keep the enemies close concept. Another topic, President Trump has floated the idea of replacing the income tax with tariffs, even abolishing the IRS, focusing on external revenue to fuel the U.S. He argues that this would further unleash, some argue that this would further unleash control oligarchs, or would this keep them at bay? What is the effect of abolishing the IRS on control oligarchs like Bill Gates?
If Donald Trump abolishes the IRS and does away with the income tax, you can just wipe all the other faces off of Mount Rushmore and put just his face there. This would be the greatest achievement in over 100 years. He'd go down as the greatest president of all time. You could call it Mount Winmore and just have it just Trump there. This is huge, and it's actually counterintuitive. People think that this is just a giveaway to the billionaires. This is not true. Billionaires don't pay taxes. We know this. Their tax returns have been leaked. There was a big ProPublica investigation. Jeff Bezos doesn't pay taxes, barely. I mean, they pay tiny amounts compared to what you and I pay. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, the rest of them. They have all sorts of tricky ways. They are 10 steps ahead of the tax code. It's the middle class. It's the average Joes of America who pay all of the taxes. And so of course, Donald Trump can do it. And of course, you could do it with an external revenue service. It will be obviously very challenging. But I thought that this was sort of just like a campaign suggestion to kind of like had a viral moment. Actually, when you look into it, it is a serious suggestion. And if he does it, he will go down as the best president ever. It would be amazing.
You know, I think most people forget the fact that it was a Republican president, considered the greatest of all time, who invented, or who at least imposed income taxes, Abraham Lincoln. And that was under circumstances that at the time the government said this is direly necessary for preserving the Union. Talking about Republicans and taxes and income taxes, people assume that income taxes have been around forever. They haven't. It's not a precedent that our founding fathers envisioned for keeping the government functioning.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's barely 100 years old, just over 100 years old. And just on the point about like the control oligarchs who benefits, it actually, if you were to eliminate the income tax, and you do it, it's first you got to slash the spending. He's doing that. You've got to create efficiencies in the government, getting all of these illegal aliens out of the country, which are $500 billion expense with all of the healthcare and the housing, and the food and every other free thing that we're giving to non-citizens. So you cut the spending. That's the first thing, and because that's the biggest problem we have really is a spending problem, not a revenue problem. And then with these tariffs, there's a huge added benefit that it will reinvigorate our industrial base. America doesn't make anything anymore. America is basically a services economy, and our biggest export is financial services and banking. We need to be making things. We need to be building things in our country. And so tariffs and this external revenue service, that is a way of so there's a huge added side benefit other than just letting us keep more of our paychecks. Reinvigorating our industrial base and making America make things again is a huge benefit. And then what I was going to say about the control oligarchs, it actually puts the entire tax burden on them, because then it becomes mostly just sales taxes. And so actually the billionaires will be paying more of the fair share. Because they spend so much more, so much more money. So when they buy yachts and helicopters and private jets and things like that, they will be providing all of the taxes while the middle class gets to keep their income.
I would love to see Seamus Brunner in the same room with Senator Elizabeth Warren, explaining to her this concept, and then what she would say. I think the veins would just fully pop out of her neck if you did. Seamus.
That would be fun.
A pleasure as always. Thank you. You've probably heard about ivermectin, a medication that helped many during COVID. But why has it faced so much controversy? Because they don't want you to have control, speaking of, over your own health. That's where All Family Pharmacy comes in. They make it simple to access high-quality ivermectin made here in the United States. They handle the prescription for you and ship it directly to your door. No hassle. Your right to choose your healthcare matters. Leaders like RFK Jr. have spoken out about the importance of medical freedom, and it's crucial to take action before your options are limited. All Family Pharmacy offers over 200 medications, so whether you need ivermectin or something else, they've got you covered. Make America healthy again. Visit allfamilypharma.com/Rion and use code RION10, that's RION 10, for 10% off your order. Stock up today. Stay prepared. Trump's spending freeze panics Washington. What comes next? Jim Paff of the Conservative Caucus joins us next after this.